Vitores absolutely banged one in, and I mean that literally, 71 minutes in, clanking it off of the top of the post, getting it into that top corner to give us a 1-0 lead over Série A, and we would hold on to that. It would be a clean sheet for João Pantera, although he wasn't really tested all that much, and winning that match did qualify us officially for continental competition, as we guaranteed ourselves a top 10 spot, and we are playing at least in the Copa Sudamericana next year. But we still had ourselves an outside chance of qualifying for the Copa Libertadores, and sadly against Grêmio, we started to see that dream slip. Pedro Mantovani came back, obviously not quite match sharp. It really did show. They took a 2-0 lead. We did get one back off of the foot of Manuel Rodriguez before Noriega put them ahead by 2 once again with just a minute left to play. And sadly, 3 points that we could not get from a team that was sitting ahead of us on the table. And admittedly, I was worried about it in the next match because we just did not get off to a great start, and Pedro Mantovani also not looking sharp, giving up a goal 33 seconds in. But we would ultimately find an equalizer. Nice feed from Gabriel Rosera, finding Manuel Rodriguez. We were tied at 1. But then we found our groove just shy of the hour mark. This time Rodriguez playing provider, Edson Jose slipping it past Dante Lopez to give us a 2-1 lead that we would not relinquish, because Edson Jose would then become provider for Osvaldo Pereira, who scored with 15 minutes left to ice a 3-1 victory. Which means as we head into the final match week, we sit in 6th place and in control of our own destiny. 1 point ahead of Atlético Paranaense, 2 points ahead of Atlético Mineiro. Now, we cannot get all the way into 4th, which will qualify us for the group stage, but we can qualify for the second round of the Copa Libertadores with a win today, or at least we need to match the results of Paranaense and Mineiro. Meanwhile, Caio Henrique has been out for the last couple of weeks, so Pereira getting a lot of playing time on that right wing. So we are going to start this match as we began the last, with Mantovani in goal, Ivanzinho, Igor, Canella, and Souza Silva as our back three. Beto at the base of the midfield. He's replaced Eric in the last couple of matches. They're both kind of on the same level, but Beto, the senior player, wanted to really get him a little bit more playing time and make sure that he is the player for the future, or if it will be Eric eventually. But Beto is in there behind Edson Jose and Vitores. Rodriguez on the left, Osvaldo Pereira on the right, Gabriel Rosera up front. This could potentially be the swan song for Vitores and Gabriel Rosera. Vitores, because I think Leonardo is going to be a massive player. We have signed him to a professional contract. He is making, I believe, the most of any player on the club, save Igor, who is no longer grumpy and agreed to a new 5-year contract for Igor. But Leonardo has a value of nearly 20 million already at the age of 16. He is going to be a special player. Vitores is 27 and will be out of contract at the end of the year. Same with Gabriel Rosera. Zé Carlos, we already know that we are going to be parting ways with him when his contract is up at the end of the season. We'll get into this a little bit more after the match as we start to plan for season number 7 and our first in South American continental competitions. And these are competitions, I've got to admit, I personally am not familiar with. I have never played in the Copa Libertadores or the Copa Sudamericana. Now, if we make the Copa Libertadores, we will be in the second qualifying round. From my understanding, I have no idea what happens if we don't win. Fed in, Gabriel Rosera gets around the goalkeeper, chips it in, and makes it 1-0. The referee has blown his whistle. Potentially, he was offside. I don't think he was, but the referee disagrees, and the goal has been disallowed. And when you look at it from that angle, yeah, he was just a little bit offside. So unfortunately, a good chance falls by the wayside. Maybe that's why the goalkeeper made such a poor effort at that. Nardoni gets around Manuel Rodriguez, and Botafogo still in control in their own end. Crossing the line is Moreno. Nardoni back for Igor Jesus. Moreno ends up with it again as they pass it around the triangle, and a very slow, deliberate play from Botafogo, which is somewhat similar to the way we play. Good ball sent in. Save made. Ron Cruz leaves it out for Igor Jesus. Up front, Vitello still around the edge of the box. They have not been able to penetrate again. Aguinaldo getting around Canella and putting it past Pedro Mantovani to make it 1-0 Botafogo. This may be yet another match where Mantovani's angles just are not quite where we need them to be, and Canella's got to do a better job and not let his man get past him so easily. So again, in the second qualifying round, if we win, we move to the third qualifying round. The loser of the third, well, obviously the winner of the third qualifying round moves on to the group stage. The loser then moves into the group stage of the Copa Sudamericana. So I don't know if we lose our continental match. I don't know if we are eliminated or not. I'm going to assume it's like Europe. Great save by Megiolaro, putting it out behind for a corner. Great effort there. Unfortunately, we are unable to hit pay dirt, and as the moments tick down, only 1 minute added on. Ball too far in front of Edson Jose. Wendell will play it into the middle. Vitello, 10 seconds remaining in added time. Iguinaldo laying it out left for Richard Wendell. Wendell crossing it in. Ron Cruz isn't going to get there. Igor will clear it, and that will be the end of the first half. 1-0 Botafogo with the lead. We are still, as things stand right now, because Atletico Paranaense apparently is drawing, and we have we've got the advantage over them, the tiebreaker. We are still in 6th place as things stand right now. It really depends on Atletico Mineiro not winning. They appear to be losing at the moment, but we are going to be watching the scoreboard as we move into the second half of this match. So if we lose in the Copa Libertadores, if we make it that far, that is, not counting our chickens. Started to count our chickens last year. We thought we had it, the League One in Serie B, and at the literal very last second, Vitória wrenched that away from us. I want to check the standings. Let's see if Vitória, they were right down near the bottom. Looks like they are going to survive this year and be in the league one more year. Meanwhile, looking for Edson Jose, Wendell tracking back. Ball is cleared. Beto can't get his hand on it. Aguinaldo in control. Beto trying to dispossess him, but he gets it free to Igor Jesus. Nardoni now along that right wing. Cuts past his man. He's taken down by Ivanzinho. Come on. Just when I thought that we may have an opportunity to get back into this match, we give up another stupid, useless penalty. And that is a problem that we have had for the last couple of years. But this season it seems to be quite pronounced and has cost us a number of matches. Now, Pedro Mantovani is ready. Ron Cruz delivers, but he gets Mantovani to go the wrong way. And Botafogo takes a 2-0 lead. Vitória is going to see this position to Paulo Alexandre. We also have Caio Enrique, who needs to get back match fit, even though this is the last match of the season, so what does it really matter? He's coming in, but first, Rodriguez picks it off, plays it to Alexandre, back to Rodriguez, around the side. He's got Alexandre, who puts it past the goalkeeper to get one back, 73 minutes in, and there's still a chance. And right now, Paranaense is still drawing, so they do remain locked with us. Mineiro still at 57 points. Aguinaldo dispossessed by Igor, but he's able to wrestle it back. Nardoni in possession of the ball. Aguinaldo, Nardoni, Igor Jesus, Nardoni takes it out wide, forward. Aguinaldo looking for Vitello. Was he onside? I don't believe so. The referee has blown his whistle. That usually means it is coming back, but VAR is going to confirm things. Hopefully it has been disallowed, and we still trail by just the single goal. We're going to go more attacking as we move forward. So Igor is going to take the free kick that resulted. He's taking his time, of course, before playing it out to Ivanzinho. If we are able to draw, that pretty much, I think, guarantees us a spot in the Copa Libertadores second qualifying round for next year. Beto, terrible pass, picked off. Ron Cruz gets out from between two Ituano men, and Nardoni once again in control, 10 minutes remaining, looking for Aguinaldo. Ivanzinho gets there first. Play continues. Paulo Alexandre back out wide. Ivanzinho quickly forward to Rodriguez. Gabriel Rosera now. Back heel pass. It comes to Ivanzinho. Rodriguez gives it back to him. Ruan Cruz slide tackles it away, but we are able to maintain possession. Now to the near side, Souza Silva up for Caio Henrique in the box, overtaken by David Ricciardo, but cleared only as far as Souza Silva, who will hold up play before sending it in. Caio Henrique deep into the middle, save made, and cleared once again. This time, Aguinaldo will settle it down and pay it back to Nardoni, but the highlight continues until I said the highlight continued. So still 0-0 in the Paranaense match. Gabriel Rosera in, dispossessed once again by David Ricardo. He'll get it back from Noeves. We have just over 5 minutes remaining. Good steal by Beto. Alexandre Rodriguez around the side finds Caio Henrique, who finds the back of the net. And we have found the equalizer. Ituano 2, Botafogo 2. Absolutely brilliant counterattack, and with that, we find ourselves 2 points ahead of Atletico Paranaense, who appear to be now behind in their match. Meanwhile, Atletico Mineiro still on 57 points. We are going to win. We're going to draw. We are going to end up on 60 points, and we are going to end up in 6th place, and we are ending up playing in South America next year in the Copa Libertadores. And it has been made official. The 2032 Copa Libertadores is going to have Ituano in it. We've secured a top 6 finish in Serie A in our very first season, guaranteeing us our best ever finish for the club in their history. We've gotten our initial budgets. We're not really worried about the transfer budget. Right now we have 53,000 in available wage budget, which is fantastic, which means that we can re-up players that we need to re-sign in order to elevate their domestic release clauses. We are not going to lose any players next year, I think. 6.18 million for getting 6th place in Serie A. We now have just under 17 million in the bank. We had, right before that match, asked if we could improve our youth facilities, and we also asked for a coaching course. We haven't gotten an answer on either just yet. Edson Jose, meanwhile, picked up the Player of the Year and was also named along with Canella in the Serie A Team of the Year. We did also pick up a few other awards. Canella was named the Brazilian Central Defender of the Year, and Edson Jose came in second in voting for the Brazilian Midfielder of the Year. And for some reason, we didn't get an announcement, but we will be studying for our Continental Pro license. 3 members of the side managed 14 goals on the season. Marcus Antonio, who we did not see for most of the latter quarter of the season. He's also going to be going back to Manchester United at the end of his loan back. Edson Jose, 14 goals, 11 assists. Manuel Rodriguez, 14 goals, 15 assists. And Vitares was knocking on the door, 9 goals, 8 assists. Now again, do we keep Vitares around? Is he going to be a backup? We do have a number of players who could play in that role. Hermes Tucci managed 8 goals and 2 assists on loan at Botafogo in Série C. William De Silva was incredibly solid for us. The only reason he wasn't playing towards the end of the season is because he did pick up an injury and he has been sidelined for the last couple of weeks. But 2 goals, 3 assists, and 24 total appearances, only 9 of them starts. I was kind of impressed with the 18-year-old. Paulo Alexandre, who did get the call when De Silva was out, 2 goals, 1 assist. Not fantastic in 27 total appearances, 21 of them coming in off of the bench, but a respectable 6.84. Eric, while we primarily been playing him as a defensive midfielder, could make some appearances in that role. He did manage just the 1 assist in 11 appearances in the league. Still some growing to do, ignore the down arrows, but he does have the potential as his value shows us at nearly 7 million. And then, of course, There's Leonardo, the 16-year-old that just came through our youth intake, made 7 appearances for the U20s at the age of 16, 6 goals, 3 assists, on an XG of 2.5 with a 7.71 average rating. He is going to definitely get a nice long look during the Sao Paulo State Championship. Decisions, however, do need to be made on Carlau, the 31-year-old center defenseman who has been a rock for us on the back line. We obviously phased him out toward the end of this year to give Igor more minutes in that position. If we can re-sign him for less than important player minutes, I think we're going to, because we could still use that depth back there. I'm not sold on Jose Henrique or Anderson, can't remember his name at the moment, Anderson Guerrero. I'm not sure that they are ready for prime time just yet, even though we did give Henrique the minutes early on. I don't know if we're going to do that next year. I'm still up in the air on 19-year-old Mosquito, who came through our youth intake a couple of years ago. Solid, yet unspectacular on loan this past year with Retro, only making 11 appearances with a 6.71 rating. Still, I mean, high technique, great work rate. However, he's not really showing a ton of improvement throughout, and he may have hit his limit at the age of 19. Is he still really an exciting young prospect who isn't far from the first team? Dora Milton, I just don't think he has the stuff. His reflexes, being what they are, don't fill me with a ton of confidence. He made 33 appearances with the U20s this year, gave up 59 goals, did manage 6 clean sheets on a 6.78 rating, but he made that one appearance for us this year, and it was an absolute disaster where he did not stop a single shot. Fabiano Jaeger kind of got the short shrift this year. The 21-year-old has been progressing nicely. Sadly, we just have not registered him or given him much of a chance. I think we're going to re-up him for a minor contract to use as a bench player. He can play behind Manuel Rodriguez on the left-hand side. He's obviously not nearly as talented as Rodriguez is, but with Zé Carlos definitely leaving, we do need a little bit more depth at the left wing position. Marcos Henrique, the 24-year-old, he is going to be gone after this year. He lost his backup position behind JP with the emergence of Souza Silva, so he is superfluous, and he made 2 appearances off of the bench this year, 1 in the Sao Paulo State Championship, and did essentially nothing. Adriano Hakuda, I desperately wanted him to turn into something. Now, he didn't have a ton of potential, if you remember, when he came through our youth intake, and I was like, he might be able to do something. He just never developed into anything. The 21-year-old is going to be leaving the club at the end of the month. Zé Carlos is still a solid player at 27. He just could not get the minutes. He got unhappy that he wasn't the starter, but Manuel Rodriguez was head and shoulders above him. He only made 2 starts, a total of 13 appearances this year, 1 goal, 2 assists. He's just not worth it anymore. He really didn't even have the value once we got into Serie A. He was just never really a Serie A player. He was fantastic for us, a tremendous servant, been with the club since 2019. However, 2031 is going to be his last. Gabriel Rosera has been our captain, and again, we already have him on a squad player contract. If we can re-up him for not starting money, that would be fantastic. He probably is still our best striker available right now, but we obviously want to get players like Arisvaldo Pereira through and maybe give some game time to some of the younger players who might be coming up, because they eventually will be our future. Gabriel Rosera, if we can re-sign him for less, then it's a deal. I'm thinking the same thing with Gabriel Abdias. He may end up being our 3rd choice left back, obviously behind Ivan Zinho, but we do have another young player who may be coming through, and that is Christian Velasquez, the 16-year-old who came in through our youth intake. He may stick with the club for next year. He did pick up an assist. He was okay in the U20s. We'll see how he does in the Sao Paulo State Championship. We are going to give him minutes. He has a potential massive value, so we want to take advantage of that if we can. All in all, though, my friends, it was a tremendous first season in Serie A. 6th place. We secured a spot in the Copa Libertadores, albeit in one of the qualifying rounds. If Pedro Mantovani can play like he did mid-season, we'll be fantastic. If we can still get all of those goal contributions from players like Manuel Rodriguez and Edson Jose, that will be wonderful. And if the 16-year-olds we're thinking about bringing up into our first team for next year, if they contribute at a level that I think they can, we're going to have ourselves a fantastic 7th season.